Still doing Magnesia here. The Romans opened things up. A little bit of rallying over here. Pushing legionary unit forward, smacking back, I don't know, one of these mediums that was in the way. The cav leader, the Greek guy, Eumenes or whatever, ran over here and started gathering up the Roman cav, planning to bring it back. He's only got one cav unit on the board that he was commanding, so it seemed like a good idea to start moving. And then we move over to the first of Seleucids, and that's this guy Philippus. He moved forward with his one of the double phalanxes and smacked into and drove away one of those legions. This is a troubling situation because no matter what he kind of launches, he's thrown a skirmisher in to try to. It was there to try to cover the flank in case the attack didn't work. But then he didn't get a continuation. He chased one of his routed units away. And he really could have used more activations there. It's funny because he's got such a high range. He can reach 8 hexes, but he can only command 3 units. Got some interesting characters like that. Eumenes is kind of similar, 5 spaces too. He's almost like a normal Prefect Equite because of that. Okay, well, the Romans start pounding away not only here, to the left of the center, but also really the center itself. They're breaking up that phalanx formation. We see one routing here. They're starting to get flank attacks on this side. What's here is kind of isolated and will be hit next now that they've broken one of the pieces off. This guy's just stuck back there with nothing they're really able to do. And we're really seeing the tactical flexibility of the Romans coming into play here against the extreme inflexibility of the Seleucid double phalanxes. This is almost entirely broken open, the left flank. The center is cracking. And then here on the right, where the Seleucids have really been dilly-dallying, they spent a trump attempt that failed to try to take away the breaking of the center. They didn't want to lose an action there. They probably shouldn't have trumped with him. Trumped with somebody a little better. They've moved some of their cav up, but there's an elephant screen there that's going to pretty much, hold that in check to some extent, I would assume. All right. Okay, well, the Romans continue to kind of peck away, driving and destroying a couple of these, actually heavy, destroying one heavy cav and driving another one away, I guess, that had gotten kind of stuck behind Roman lines. I thought there were 2 in there. One must have been a heavy infantry, I guess, because I think they destroyed 2 units back there. Also had some failed rallies, which is why there's so many Seleucid units there. One thing though, the hammers started to fall over here. These big phalanxes getting some impressive hits in, driving a couple of Romans out. Some flank attacks. This corner is beginning to shatter. It looked like they might be able to beat the Seleucids even on the corner, but now it's pretty obvious. You've got a weak spot like that in your line. The other guy's going to be able to exploit it even if you disrupt his formation significantly. However, on his momentum roll, die roll of doom, end of turn, and clean up. I'm going to count the points right now. It's 5 for the Romans, very easy. Well, I got to catch because things are running off the map. Alright, I'll come back. And yeah, the field looks a lot different after all the mechanical stuff. First of all, there's no more routed units kind of clustered around here. They're all either off the map or making their way off. We see the formation here. It's taking too long to develop, and these cav are going to be coming in pretty soon now that Eumenes or whatever is ready to come forward. So I think things are pretty much in the Romans' hands here. Just look at the losses. The Romans indeed lost their 5. This is a big 63, but let's count these suckers. 12, 18, 30, 42, 44, 46, 48, 54 more. That puts them up to 106. They're almost broken. Oh, they lose, you know, the units that are running off the map next turn, and they're probably done. So they're going to have to, you know, jump in and try to stop things. It's too late for Seleucids, really. So looking at things at the beginning of this turn, the first question is, does Aemilius have line of sight to 4 routing Romans? Because if he does, then he can bring these reinforcement units over here, this big pile of hoplites. Turns out, I stretched a line. He definitely doesn't have view to this, and I don't think he actually does to this either. It looks pretty clear. There's a unit in his way. Okay, so he does not, and still the Romans won't get those reinforcements. So I'll start with the other foe. Now, after a little bit of action by the lower ranked Romans, driving some of the Seleucids away, see the Seleucid cav hit. Not deterred by the elephants here particularly, they slammed right into the light infantry. Now, there was one problem. There was one light cav. Light cav is disadvantaged hitting light infantry head on, and remember that from my J.A. Jones or whatever. Anyway, he's driven away, but the heavies pretty much broke through, and they even brought a second line with the infantry coming up, which drove away the remainder of the lights, as well as some of that legionary, the elite cohort stuff. And that'll put us over on a 3-point Roman somewhere. We still don't have line of sight, though. Hit after hit after hit, the Romans finally broke that phalanx there. It actually stood up for quite a bit of punishment, getting hit on the flank a couple of times, including with support from the Velites here, and then finally this legion charged in against it and the elephant. Terrible odds, rolling on the 1 table. Did a damage to the elephant, almost broke on its own, which would have saved the phalanx from making the after-battle check. But then both the legion and the phalanx had to make checks. The legion with its 8 tactical quality passed. The phalanx with a 6 had a good chance, but it didn't. And that double phalanx is fleeing now. The Seleucids commit their elephants, actually pretty much driving away a lot of those Romans there. They were able to get some flank attacks in, but even head on, the Romans were a little fatigued. So we're seeing a lot of Roman units breaking around there, right in that corner area. Unfortunately, over here, the Roman line looks very powerful, and that's going to be a lot tougher for the Seleucids to make up ground, and there's so many points behind. Alright, now let's see what we've got going on. First of all, this guy up here, Minio, or Minnie Mouse, or whatever, continued the pressure on the Roman line. Almost mixed results, really. He broke a bunch of the Romans. You can see they came back here. Now that allowed this activation to occur, as well as some of the Triarii being pushed forward. Their only reason they're back there is nobody was around to command them. But in addition, it also caused one of the phalanxes to break. So, you know, it's kind of a mixed result. Overall, it still looks like a strong Seleucid victory over here in this corner, but the Romans definitely did some damage there. How's the battle turning out as a whole? Well, most of the Seleucids have been rallied. I don't think they're going to crack necessarily this turn. We can see the Romans have taken more losses than the Seleucids, just by the way things have fallen out. And that's really the corner there. It caused some units to get popped, essentially. Alright. Well, Scipio was able, the other Scipio, to launch, this unit forward, and it hit one of them double phalanxes that was routing. This is terrible. It essentially kills him. I mean, there's basically no chance that it wouldn't have. So that's 12 points, doubled as 24 because they're the double size units. That's enough. We're at 130. Really, the only question here is, do I want to play out some more activations, see what else happens? And a little bit of time here, so why not? You know, but I come back and I see, I just walked away to grab myself a drink. Kind of looks like a foul color. It's a pina colada mix. I don't really like pineapple, but we got it for our walk from the supermarket. Anyway, I look at Scipio, and he's really not got a lot that he can do here. So I'm just going to be wasting 10 minutes or whatever to finish up his activation and then take Antiochus's, which isn't going to do anything either. Antiochus would have been trying to rally the remaining troops, but this is over. That was the blow that basically sends his army flying. In a sense, after that blow, probably the entire army is wavering everywhere. So unless it was a close battle, which it isn't, it doesn't even... you're almost kind of spoiling the effect if you play on. At least that's how I'm justifying myself at this point. Anyway, I think we saw a kind of interesting fight here. Skirmishers played their part here, actually. Not in terms of a shield that somebody could build up behind, but for the Seleucids, it's something that they could kind of help prevent their center from being attacked. Their center was very powerful, but it's also immobile, and really needed to break up that Roman attack as it's coming in and just sit there while trying to win the battle, really, with that cav side. Unfortunately, the weaker stuff over here, including some of the heavy cav, got chased away by the heavy infantry. And that's about where we have it. Alright. I'm playing something else, not SPQR. I do still have some left. I still have the Jewish scenarios left, but I want to kind of mix things up a little bit more. Don't want to just play it straight through.